Now, I think it's very fair to say that Robert De Niro is by far the living example of what not to do with your acting career, if not the best example of how to not run things as an actor by mixing it with politics. And we all saw this happen both before and after the 2024 election, and throughout the majority of this year in 2025. Now, one thing about Robert De Niro is that he's beginning to get very bitter in an extreme way, to the point that he's hopping on every single mainstream media outlet possible out there to go on long-winded rants and tirades toward the American citizens, toward, of course, those that so happen to hold a different political opinion than him, and calling them uneducated and how he doesn't want their business. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Robert De Niro right now is that in 2025, he had two major disasters. The Alto Nights back in March, and most recently toward the tail end of September, there was a film called Tin Soldier by Amazon MGM Studios, which was now just recently labeled an official ratings disaster. And how is Robert De Niro taking that? Well, as always, and not so shockingly, he turned it into a political rant and blamed MAGA, blamed Trump supporters, and even went on multiple rants about Hollywood and exactly how people are perceiving Hollywood. So let's get into this. Now, one thing about Robert De Niro is that we all know that he always tries to play the blame game. He always tries to play the victim card, trying to make people feel sorry for him as an actor and as a person, and for those in the arts and cinema. And that's basically what he's going through right now. He's trying to paint himself as a victim. Now, with Hollywood and the entire film industry going through extensive backlash for valid reasons coming from the general public, especially after the comments made by many actors about Charlie Kirk's assassination, one major development going on now involves more to do with Robert De Niro's film Tin Soldier and how it was officially labeled as a ratings disaster by Amazon. Robert De Niro recently delivered the following. Look at what Trump has done to the arts and cinema, he says, for many actors like myself, where we are constantly met with challenges, whether it's in the theater or on streaming. Because of Donald Trump, we are now dealing with a crisis in Hollywood and in our industry, where our films are openly attacked and boycotted through political motivation. It's a disaster of what our country has come to, and the very fine writers and creators involved with my film, Tin Soldier, deserve more credit and recognition. When I take one look at MAGA, all I see is a bunch of hypocrites who love to watch others fail. Our great cast and crew did not deserve to deal with the lack of recognition for our latest feature because of politics. It's men like Trump who want to act like a king and run things differently in this country that's only contributing to chaos. Films need to be respected. Art needs to be cherished, and that's something that no longer exists under Donald Trump's presidency. I keep hearing the lamest excuse from the MAGA gang that it's the actor's fault, it's the actor's fault. To that I say no, it's MAGA's fault for being so naive, for being so gullible about everything Trump says and all the false promises he actually puts out. As an actor, it brings me to tears. It makes me want to cry for all the up-and-coming actors, including myself though, joining our industry only to deal with a lack of recognition for their fine work acting in these amazing films. We are not too far off where movie theaters will be a thing of the past, and even films on streaming will struggle. It's a future I don't want to witness and be a part of, but it's looking very grim for our industry right now under Donald Trump. So guys, let me just stop right there quick about what Robert De Niro is saying. He is obviously going on yet another long-winded rant about how his films continue to fail, whether it's box office failures or ratings disasters in this case because it was on streaming. We know that Robert De Niro is not dealing with this in a very positive way. He's not actually saying, well, you know, our film didn't really meet expectations and that's fine and all. It so happens to happen sometimes in actors' careers. That's basically all he had to really say, but instead, he goes on to blame Trump, to blame MAGA, Trump supporters, and anyone out there that has a different political opinion than him that so happens to lean a different way. And that's exactly the problem with Robert De Niro, is that he's so extreme, he's so far to one side, where if you're on the other opposite end, then you're excluded. He doesn't want your business, he doesn't care about you, he doesn't consider you a fan of his work. Whether it's his past work or current work, doesn't matter. He wants you to no longer support his work. That's what it's all about, and it's not helping his case at all, because look, this is exactly why the Alto Knights failed, and it's exactly why this movie failed terribly. Not only was it a ratings disaster, it really got no recognition. It was almost like nobody even heard of this movie at all, as if it doesn't even exist. So he goes on to continue. He has created nothing but destruction in Hollywood with his 100% tariffs on films made outside of the US. How is that supposed to help the many producers attempting to expand their creative vision to film outside of this country? Trump is a madman, and it's the sole reason why our film, The Tin Soldier, just unfortunately did not meet expectations in a new era. I am appalled of the American people and what they have become under this administration. We are dealing with a presidency that favors fascism, and it's wreaking havoc on Hollywood. We need to call these people out day in and day out and go vote next year to take back the House and the Senate, or else films like mine, not gaining the recognition that they deserve, will continue. And it's going to only get worse under Trump's presidency. Donald Trump is a threat to creativity for actors and writers in Hollywood. And again, guys, there you have it. Robert De Niro really acting very much bitter about his movie Tin Soldier flopping, or should I say, going through a ratings disaster. Again, this was not released in theaters, this was released on Amazon, via Amazon MGM Studios, and it goes to show you that Robert De Niro is so low at this point. He has hit rock bottom to the point that he has to join projects that probably weren't going to get recognition to begin with. I don't think it has anything to do with MAGA, or Trump supporters, or Trump himself, or anything like that. This movie that stars Robert De Niro, people are just tired of Robert De Niro. This film wasn't really marketed correctly by Amazon to begin with, so it really didn't get recognition at all. But we know that Robert De Niro is going to use any failure as an excuse, or to take advantage of a failure of his own, to push it on to Trump and Trump supporters, and to just keep pulling that political narrative, right? To keep hopping on the anti-Trump bandwagon that is so tiresome and exhausting to the general public, to the point that, yeah, millions of fans are fleeing. They are walking away from De Niro. They don't care about what he's working on right now. They don't care about Meet the Fockers 4. They don't care about any other projects that he is trying to work on as we speak. One thing is for certain, though, is that there's a lot of producers, writers, and directors that are obviously trying to do better, but then the actors go and actually destroy that. Whether it's through a press tour, or whether it's on their own terms by going on different media outlets out there, such as when Robert De Niro went on MSNBC and called one of Trump's, administration members, such as Stephen Miller, a Nazi. That was absolutely ridiculous of what he did on live on air. That really did backfire, truly. But I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments. Anything ranging from Robert De Niro playing the blame game to playing the victim card and more. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.